All right, guys. Hey, everyone. It's Valerie with Kolektif 509. We have the 5th edition of the HeART of Haiti with the most amazing band who happen to also be my family, Indigenous, with Gregory, Vorbe, and Nadege, Bellande, Robertson. Guys, welcome.
Hey, hello.
So tell me, where are you guys where are you guys chiming in from?
Well, go ahead, start.
What country? Where are you?
It's here. We're in Thomas. We're in La Boule. We're in Haiti. La Boule.
We're in La Boule 18 and we're in Thomasin in our studio. I mean, that studio was originally my painting studio, and more it got transformed into half a painting studio and half a recording studio where we do all our recordings.
Cool. So you guys are in Haiti, and I'm actually stateside right now. So that's the beauty of the internet, is we're able to connect. And we have people all over from the world that are joining us live right now on our Zoom webinar, and also on Facebook as well. So this is super exciting.
Hello around the world. Hello the world. Hola. Bon, I gotta say Creole. I'm in Haiti too. Todos. Hi.
Well, that's cool.
So I want to go ahead before we start, what to expect from today's webinar. For anybody who's watching us via Facebook, Zoom, today we're going to have the fabulous chance to talk with the group Indigenous. We're going to learn about their story because they have a really interesting story. We're going to talk a little bit about the relationship between art and music. And we're going to learn a little bit more about Indigenous's upcoming projects, and they are going to bless us with a live jam session. So we're excited for everyone that's with us right now. Let us just dive in. So, who's Indigenous?
Us. It's us, but we always thought of it as a collective where other people come into, and actually over the years, we really did our thing, but for a while, we stayed on the ground and we kept on working. And actually, a lot of stuff that we've done hasn't been published, or since the first album we did back like 12 years ago. Self-produced, self-record,
right
here, and then in a scene where this was not, even naming it was different.
The way people are more aware of instruments like a didgeridoo or tablas, or there's just here in Haiti at that point we were pretty much it was oh my gosh, the tag's still in your
oh yeah. It's probably stuff in your one. It's the stuff that you see. It's the stuff.
I'm just saying that it's beautiful because Haiti has actually opened up more than people think musically, and we were avant-garde. That's the word. We were ahead of our time here, not in the whole planet, but here, him playing a didge
and integrating
it with electronica and jazzy-ish. My voice, which is, I didn't grow up, so it's indigenous, but it's definitely an accumulation of different experiences. And we should say hi to Curvely and Paluto, and there's so many other musicians who have worked with us.
Yeah.
But right now
scattered. Chiche.
Yeah. And a lot of people. It's always been a collective.
Frank Vendries, who used to make that a lot of people know here. He's a great musician, and also he used to make a lot of flutes and bamboo items for us, and rain stick and stuff like that we used to sell sometimes at concerts. And
I have a way to say. I just thought about it. Indigenous, because the question is who is Indigenous. It's an organic relationship of a lot of different artists that are both musicians and woodworker, whatever, crafts people. But it's a collective of relationships that chose music as a way to communicate with each other and then with the world.
Also, the main thing in it is integrating different elements of whatever Nadege's background is, you know, and also me, who I have a background as a painter, and I just from the beginning had an interest in music. And when I came back to Haiti after, you know, graduating from graphic design school, I just kept on looking for things, you know, going to La Cour, recording stuff, going to La La, and starting to get, you know, and play drums, and, you know, with some old men who came here to give me lessons. And I met Tillion Saint Pierre, who was a, you know, someone who I knew, but who wasn't like, but who became like such a, you know, a part of this, because Tillion came with a didgeridoo with a friend here, and I was like, what is that? What is that? And I knew of the instrument, but it was made out of bamboo, and I realized that there were
where didgeridoo, for people who are guests who are watching, where is it from actually? I'm not sure if you mentioned that.
Yeah, originally didgeridoos it's an onomatopoeia, you know, it's not how the Aboriginal calls it. It's like if you want, it's an instrument. It's one of the oldest. Somehow they say it's one of the oldest instrument on earth, also because it comes from Australia, and it's out of termite hollowed log that are harvested when they are hollowed, and it's totally ceremonial instrument. And actually, a lot of Aboriginal people, you know, had a hard time maybe accepting that some of us outside of their culture use their instruments. So I think that we live in an era. I'm so grateful that I got to touch this instrument, and I feel also compelled to use it in a proper way, in a way that, you know, somehow pays respect, at least, you know, those cultures, and by using a traditional instrument, you know, and but integrating that with electronica, with beats and voodoo drums or flutes, because I gather a bunch of things.
And the didgeridoo, that's what's in front of you right now, right? That instrument that I see in front of you.
Yeah, totally. That's one of them. Yes, I mean, that's my setup here. You know, you see a live setup of
there was a point years ago when we would bring these in, because these are from Australia. They're heavy, they're big, and I'm saying this is 12 something years ago. The world is a lot more agile than it was then in Haiti. Like getting these in the country, and then especially when like they're not inexpensive. Let me put it elegantly.
Yeah,
they are collectors. They are real, and they are so bringing them in, and then he has like several. So,
but I'm lucky enough to be able to make them too out of bamboo.
True.
So now I do also that a lot. I make instrument out of different stuff, and of bamboo, out of PVC flutes. I'll show you in a little bit. You know.
Yeah, I definitely would like to have you guys afterwards show us like your studio, show us around, because I've been to your
we'll give you a little tour.
like
We'll give you a little tour.
A museum, an artistic museum with, you know, music and artwork, and it's just super cool. And it's so interesting and fascinating that you brought this indigenous instrument all the way from Australia, and it made its way to Haiti.
Yeah, I had some people. We had contacts, you know. We had people who you know, were in LA, you know, who are like, actually they used to go over there. We met them because we went over there and played once, you know, invited over there to play, and we got they bring instruments from Australia and they sell them, and I bought a few instruments from them. I wasn't lucky enough yet not to go to Australia, but that will happen.
It will come.
Yes.
So, Dej, talk to us a little bit about you, because you have also a very interesting background as well. I mean, you are the daughter of a very famous classical or composer, not composer, what's the word?
Pianist.
Pianist.
Yeah, I'm the least indigenous on the outside appearance. Indigenous, if you think of anything that's indigenous as authentic to itself, like from wherever it is actually a very big word and a huge concept, but most people tend to think of indigenous as being more ethnic, and my background is straight up classical, conductor's daughter, music always, but really particularly classical. And the biggest and jazz, and a lot of singing and gospel. I mean, I started singing in church. So it was a background that was, and you know, Hotel California and the Beatles, or just, but honestly, I had no Caribbean, I didn't even hear Bob Marley or Led Zeppelin till late. I had a very strict music. That was just the world I was evolving in, and I'm so grateful for that, because now I've picked up my violin again, and I played the violin all my life. But then when I moved here, it's funny, when I moved here is when I really started taking music seriously, but it's only now that I'm integrating the violin. And maybe sometimes it takes time to get back to your own indigenous roots. So I think the word is perfect for us, and it was actually a play on didgeridoo. If you look at the spelling of it, it was a play on indigenous and didgeridoo and Africa
and an African
and nous, us, like a collective.
C'est comme si tu disais un didge et nous, indigenous.
Or indigenous, because at one point we do some electronica, like a lot. So there's a DJ element. There's just a lot of play. It's a play on words, but it's.
But also that's
authentic. That's how we sound.
Exactly. We totally.
And just for our viewers, both of you guys are Haitian, right? You're Haitian descent, or you Nadege, you grew up in all over the world, but you came.
Yeah. But my dad's Jamaican, and that's huge for me, because I didn't really discover that part. I remember my mother telling me there was only one island in the Caribbean, and it's Haiti. So when your mom's Haitian, there's not much anybody else is going to hear about. So it's only later that I discovered Jamaica more, but definitely a Caribbean. I'm born in California, but it's because my parents both were brought there for other reasons. But I'm very.
Me, I'm Haitian, and I grew up here, and I went to university in the States, but I came back here and never left again. And even though this is a tough country to live in, I'm happy to be here. And this is actually a very rich country, one of the richest actually in the Caribbean. That's another story. But
when I try to tell people it's a privilege to be here, I can only say that in settings where someone doesn't think I'm being sarcastic, or that I have to argue to explain why that's the truth. And part of it is because of this space. It's where I get to create, where we get to create, where other people, so many amazing people come through here. But see, we're the type that's kind of more doing what we're doing than sharing it. That's why what you're doing right now is so important, Val.
Yeah, we'll share more in the future. We promise. We're working on an album.
But
actually.
It's true. This is great.
Yeah.
Don't tell any. Oh, yeah, no, tell everyone.
Yeah.
No, keep it a secret.
No, I mean, we have to.
But it's a privilege. And part of what we had to decide, what's been the ebb and flow of this group, has been moments when we're like totally out there. We're touring. We're going to California, we're going here, we're going there, and then life happens, because for us, this isn't just like a group, it's who we are, it's our families, it's been a lot of, and in the meantime, so I had to leave a few years, but then he kept working.
Yeah, I had to somehow from didgeridoo, and actually people
didgeridoo, the producer, because this is what's the best. Okay, I have to say, and then I'm gonna because it's the truth. He's such more than so he's an artist, he's a musician, but now what we do in here is production, and the ability, because we're linking this to art and to creation, and what to me is contemporary is the ability to link music, art. We've played our bowls, singing bowls, and our kind of music, whatever someone would call it, in Cité Soleil. We've played it in Thomas.
But somehow also what is manifest to, I think, throughout this whole experience is that for me, there is not a disconnect with, there's a total connection with the sound that are coming out of here and the painting that I made over the years. Because I mean, I always love. I grew up with Bob Marley and reggae. I collected albums from everything when no reggae was playing in the radio. I used to go downtown buy my albums, and I have a lot of them still now, turntable and everything. And I grew up with that, and actually, it really shaped my consciousness to listening to that kind of music. And since I was very young, and I love making sounds, and I mean, I didn't know I would end up being a musician, but somehow I feel that I don't know. My heart is also. I'm a painter. I make T-shirts. I am a designer and doing this and that. But somehow
the
music
creation is in your soul. It's in your blood, basically. What
yeah,
you're trying to
music
tell me.
brings me such a instant joy. I mean, we mixing stuff here and like doing work and have tears coming out of my eyes because there's a sound that's so deep. I mean, it touches, music touches you. And Nadege will talk about that because she's, you know, in sound therapy now, getting certification with the singing bowl and everything. So somehow she didn't, I didn't expect that. Maybe it seems all natural now, but somehow I did not see that coming. And actually, but it fits also somehow a real nature, doing yoga and like being a, you know, like more. I mean, she eats just leaves, you know. I wish I was, but what I'm saying is that it's connected. It's connected, but there were no singing bowl before, and but for me also, I had to learn. It's not I had to, but I wanted to learn to play guitar. I wanted to like, and I did on my own. Went online. Everything you want to do now, you can. There is a website. There is like free info to.
There's Google.
Anything you want to do, if you want to get off your butt and start working on something. And once you indulge into something, you don't see the hours. Yesterday, I stayed 15 hours working on a track, finishing it. And I find that like, it's priceless to be able to do that. And
actually, it's a permission to spend that many hours.
Yeah.
Especially here, or maybe anywhere. But here's what I'm saying. Here, it's actually easier in a way that maybe some people don't understand. If you make your decision here and you have the support of your family, and you organize yourself. You know, he has his t-shirt company, and I'm working on sound therapy and a foundation. But the choice to create and to have this space in the middle of such chaos and conflict,
I mean,
to be sharing light, and there was a lot of light. There's more light here than people think. So for us, it's an expression of that sound of anything that keeps you, like your heartbeat. That's the original sound, is your heartbeat and your breath. That's what actually music is, and rhythm. So
you can't keep talking.
Was that your cue?
I see Gogo. Gogo's like, all right. The fingers are starting to shake. Can
well,
you?
What's neat about is we've also been, you know, we did the other day. We worked with Danya Dijiman, did a yoga. We did all the music live while people were doing their practice. But I'd like to kind of, because I'm keeping in my mind that the art facet and how much it is true. I didn't grow up with him, but he grew up on the street, and Hans and Marie-Claude, like, I do know that there are times you meet someone who had no musical training, but everything about them, or maybe it could be as a painter or as a dancer. There are times you run into someone in your life who's authentically, they don't even know it yet, but they're 100% whatever they will emerge into. And I was lucky to see it. I've been privileged to work with so many amazing musicians here. But the person who captured my, probably my own quest, which is why it led to using sound for wellness and for prayer and for spirituality and for healing. It's something authentic about that this union actually makes sense. And we get to, right now, our focus is, you know, videos and being a little more present, because we've been working in our little world, but it's way time to have a bigger conversation with other artists, other musicians. I was looking at something about how there was an exhibit not recently, like 5 years ago, on art and music, and I think it's called I wish this sounded like music, but it was a bunch of different visual artists who got together, who were talking about the link between music and art. And that's a more academic or visual conversation, but for us, it's musical. Okay, so that's my answer.
No, great. Excuse me. So as you're talking, I just started putting some pictures up of Gogo's artwork, because we're putting the link between music and contemporary art, which is, you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this webinar series. So Gogo, I know you want to dive into the music. I also just had a couple of questions regarding like your art. How is, you know, your background in music and the music that you make with Indigenous, how does it influence your artwork? Because I see Indigenous in your artwork as well, with not only the themes, but the colors that you use.
I think it was doing that just even before I was making music, because actually I remember clearly my parents went to Peru, and I was very young and I didn't go, but when they came back, they brought music. They brought like traditional calchakis and like Indian music, and even decorated our house with, you know, Peruvian stuff and I mean pottery and stuff like that. And so somehow this, like, I don't know, somehow for me it was such a connection. I felt that I was discovering something that maybe now, with all the, in retrospect, that I probably had in another life. I mean,
we went to the cat restaurant.
Oh yes, I went to this place and I started crying for like
a long time.
I was even ashamed. I was like, and we're supposed to meet, that was in Colorado, we're supposed to meet a friend of Nadege and a dear friend who came to visit us here and everything. And
actually, we should say a plug for Focal, because we went there to study how to use music to create community. Like, we've been doing this for a long time, and now I work as a peace building element. And so we went to Colorado for this. Okay, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this experience was amazing, because after rafting with him, and we went to this place, to the Kathmandu restaurant, I remember the name, and up in the mountain of Colorado Mountain. And actually, where I bought this flute, and I'm like, and I walked into the restaurant, and I hear this music, this Tibetan music, this flute and I started crying for like 45 minutes straight. And I was so, not ashamed, but like I was annoyed, because like this can't stop the flow. And I had to put on lunettes, you know, shades inside the restaurant, because, you know, I was meeting people that didn't, you know, other people.
But see, here's the connection. If someone had ever seen his artwork, it wouldn't surprise them that when he's hearing those sounds and that evocative energy, that would happen. That's the connection between, at least in his case, art and his, like, his art actually looks like his music. That's I think so too. I mean, you know, you know that I destroyed that painting. I painted so over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's no longer exists.
No, it happens with artists. We do that a lot. I can't tell you how many lives we give to a painting.
But he's saying bye too. He's telling me bye, so I probably that was his last. I was like,
some more of your amazing artwork.
Thank you, my love. Thank you.
Well, you know what? Let's hold off the talking a little bit, and can you guys do a couple little, you know, I don't know, a little impromptu music? Is that
we can?
Possible? Just want to let you know that
it's how we set up the camera.
Now, but then we're gonna move the camera a little.
Nancy has a couple questions. Nancy Rock has joined us. So I told everybody to hold off on the questions at the end. She had a very, very good question. We also
have not surprising.
And Jack also announced in the comments that he actually has a video of one of your very first performances. So he's gonna share that with us.
Is that me?
And
what performance was that, Jeff?
Yeah, and so Jeff says that the art and music taps into indigenous people like the Taino in Haiti and ancient knowledge, which is why Gogo incorporates this into his artwork. So
Totally on point.
Wow.
on
Jeff,
point.
Jeff, that is, I couldn't have said it. That's absolutely accurate. C'est parfait. Totally.
So,
Absolutely.
so everybody who is watching us, at least in the in our Zoom webinar, don't worry. You guys will have a chance to ask questions, but at the end, okay? So hold them off, type them in the comments, and then I'll refer back to the comments. So, guys, can you jam a little bit? Can you?
Yeah, what we'll do, we'll do something. What we'll do is that we'll do something totally spontaneous, but based from something we have done before. What I'm gonna do is so that it's fun and interesting. I'm gonna loop something live, all right? So that
so you can see a little how
a
we work.
little bit of how it works, because that's why it's gonna be fun. And actually, I'm gonna use something that I probably never used before, all right? So we're gonna do something. We can still talk to Nadege a little bit.
The thing is, but I don't know how we're gonna do that and show the bowls. We don't have to show them. I can get one bowl. So
Yes, because you incorporate. I believe they're called Tibetan sinking bowls, right? You also
they are a passion for many years, but recently I spent time in the hospital with my son, and thank God he did very well. But they had a sound therapy program there, and they were using instruments like didgeridoos, singing rain sticks, singing bowls, and I realized it's something that was already what I am, was something that could channel to facilitate wellness for others as well as myself, and which is totally aligned with our music. So I've now been studying that, which has a lot more to do with geometry actually than anything else. But so yes, so we integrate bowls and didges. And
what I'm gonna do something totally cool, which is like well set up. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is that I have a couple of apps, all right, that are totally cool, and I'm gonna play something from the apps. What about that?
Do you hear that?
Yeah, but it gets here. That's the problem.
I know, but.
All right.
I can get a bowl.
Well, because when you don't have your band with you, you say, what are we gonna pick? I'm gonna pick a didgeridoo. I'm gonna pick a didgeridoo and install it. All right.
Mother Nature, and then in the pitch that.
Let's do a ditch thing with because it's a D sharp I have here, so we're not gonna be able to do it. We'll do Mother Nature afterwards. Let's do a little jam with this. Okay. You can bring the thing here. Why don't you bring the
whole table?
Yeah, on the side. Yeah. Sorry, people. And we'll move the thing.
Wait. Oh, we got
look into Indigenous' studio where they make all of the magic happen.
Actually, a lot of this is almost like. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's just a bell, right? Stuff like that happens all the time.
But here, a lot of what you do in performance is also like installations. I mean, I'm keeping on the art theme because that's what's exciting about this. If not,
exactly.
That's what you're doing and promoting and representing, in an amazing way. So
are we good
all
here?
of this is part of. It's not just sounds, it's placement, it's where it, so yes, this is actually, I'm pushing it.
All right.
So I have to tell you, when I came back, because these bowls are an investment. They are authentic, and you can still get a bowl from like Trader Market. What is it called? Not Trader Joe's, no Trader. Pier 1. You could get a bowl that is beautiful and that genuinely the vibrations exist. But my opinion is, with the work I'm doing and sound therapy, particularly working, I wanted to really get the authentic. I wanted to go to crafted bowls that the monks who made this, each gong, these are many metals. Anyway. My point was that, so I came home with these bowls after my time in California, which is where I'm studying the Tibetan, and the people at the house thought they were shoje. I found them in the kitchen.
hold on, we don't see you, Dej. For some reason, your a video turned off.
Look, look, look.
What?
Your video turned off by accident.
Oh, shit. I mean, your battery is going low.
Oh no, but we have a plug. I think we can.
You may get that charger, girl.
The girl, I get to okay. But did you hear that? So they thought these were shojera. So I invest in bowls that I like. They're precious. And I get home and I can't find my singing bowls. And no joke. And anyone who lives in Haiti, mass respect, or the Caribbean, or anywhere where sometimes you're lost in translation, major lacuna. They all were stacked in the kitchen.
They were gonna what? Put some like one was gonna be for the rice, the other one's for the beans, salad.
Oh, there's a bunch of metal here. Yo parlez pour cuitement chiffré. You're like, Madame Belle
Bolio.
That moment you have to laugh and not yell. You have to laugh and just thank the universe that they weren't cooking on it yet.
Okay, let's start something.
Okay, yeah.
Just in the position of the phone, Dej's head is a little cut off when she's just letting you know.
Go lift it a little. Yeah, we're plugging in. We're good. We're almost good.
Great. So we have a couple people that joined us. Welcome. Indigenous is about to give us a little live performance of.
Or the battery will go down, and we're so close. We're getting there. See?
I hope it's charging.
Your video turned off again.
The video's off again. Hold on. Maybe turn on.
Trust.
Oh, trust.
Yeah.
1804. I just told the whole world my code. 1804. That's legit, right?
All right.
That's my phone number, so.
Just gonna do something.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't want to use one of those?
No, I'm gonna sample something. Alright. Just keep on playing. Little balls.
Is this my phone? Mother Nature, hear my prayer. Bless me as I go, planting seeds on my path, reaping what I sow. an energy. To the light we return, more than dust are we. More than dust are, more than dust are, more than dust are we. Mother Nature, hear my prayer, more than dust are we. Mother Nature, hear my prayer, asking to forgive all injustice we commit. Teach us how to give. Teach us how to, teach us how to, teach us how to live. Calling bodhisattvas, teach us how to give. Teach us how to live. Teach us how to live. Mother Nature, hear my call. Teach us how to give.
Are you still here?
Wow. Yeah, no, I got off a camera. I gave you guys full screen.
All right. Well,
That was beautiful. So,
well, we kind of like, you know, just like on the fly, something without too much stuff.
so you integrate. Tell me, there were so many elements to what you guys just did. What are all the instruments?
I started by sampling something. I started by sampling live something, which is somehow risky because it's not always like you have to say, oh, hold on, let me redo the beat again, you know, but it went fine. And I kind of went with the tempo so that I could sample it properly, which takes synchronization of like tapping my entry of the sound,
Do you see the machines a little?
you know, so that oh, I don't think this thing is. I don't know if it's charging. I don't know if it's charging. That's the problem. So, but now I'm probably gonna have to take some time to be able to plug this. But we sample out of this, and there's sound coming out of this machine, you know, and that I put in, and then I just have a beat simple so that I could have a bass to work with, you know, a tempo, something. You know, if we have live drummers, it's different. You play it alone.
Or if our bass player is here.
Exactly.
See, the advantage of these bowls have so many different resonances and pitches that if you had to try to play these the way you would play an instrument like a guitar that you have to tune, that's a whole other experience. So part of our challenge has always been integrating instruments that were not created to be played the way we think of harmonies or musically, but still integrate them into a musical expression. So that's why you have to live this. It can't be like, oh, I'm going to try this from 3 to 5 and then I go home and do something. I feel like it would really have to be something that all the time you're experiencing how to integrate whatever it is, whether it's colors, if you're a painter, notes, if you're a musician, if you're a dancer, I guess it's movement. How does all this stuff in my head make sense collectively? And that's a privilege to be able to, this is so new to me. Music's not new. And what's new is this new version of Indigenous. And
you forget to mention about
violin player that we're working with, because we want to be able to groove too. There's a spiritual aspect, but there's also production and entertainment and spectacle and a show. So that's the art part. That's the visual part.
I'm trying to set up.
He's working hard, and I'm like, do I keep talking? What?
Yeah, because
Listen, I just want to, we also have people from Facebook that are, watching in, and one of the people commented, "Where's the peyote when you need it?"
Where's my apoyo?
Oh God, that's a good one.
Oh, that was great.
Take that comment. It's welcome to the studio anytime.
We got a good audience there. But sorry, I have to do stupid stuff. I have to do stupid stuff.
It's right? Okay. You know what? We're live. That's why this stuff type.
I mean, when you have to connect things, when you have to do stuff. Dej, no, I need to do this. I need to hold this for a second for me. All right.
I'm sorry, is my hand in front of the camera?
All right. We'll be set up.
In the meantime.
Oh, it happens all the time with a lot of stuff. You always have to fix things and
well, as you are fixing things, I'm going to.
Voila, there you go. Okay, there you go.
You're good.
I think we're good here again. Yeah.
Okay, can you guys do another little jam session?
For sure.
All right, cool.
What do you want to do? Oh, let's do one with the electric, which is my drum machine. That means that we can totally do something that has a groove to it. That is maybe because we do that a lot. We play. I mean, we rarely play with a batteur. We did that a few times, but it was pretty cool. It was very, very cool. But we play with Willele a lot. Shout out to Willele.
Shout out to Willele.
Willele National. And then we played with Frank Desiree. We played also with Frankie. Shout out to Frankie also in Buffalo. And Frankie is a dear friend.
And Rebel.
To Rebel. We have a good crowd. A good
it really is a collective. It's the day you can go from saying that or hoping about it and really living it, like being able to call someone Jael, hello, shout out to Jael.
Shout out to Jael.
Be able to calling someone Fabrice Rousier who has supported us. Good grief.
Yeah, man.
Like people who send you that, download that program when your computer busts out.
Or it gives you sound,
It's a huge. There's so much going on here.
I was just gonna say perfect.
Yeah, it's I don't know what to play. Let's see. We're gonna find some. Okay, you wanna do a long?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hold on a second. We still can talk. You can show the paintings. Yeah. Because without our bass player there, we're gonna do something that is a big program, but that still has a live element to it. Okay. This mic should be on. Check it out to see.
1, 2.
Allez, boy.
1, 2.
Yeah. Don't put it in front of that.
Yeah, the bowls.
No, yeah, just no.
This is a picture of Anakaona, I believe, right?
Oh
The
my
painting.
gosh.
Oh,
She is,
yeah.
that's one of my favorite paintings ever. Ever, ever, ever. And I think it's Jeff who was mentioning that whole Taino, there's the African influence, the Taino, the different colonial, there's so much going on here. So absolutely. Gregory's art, it's organic. I think, yeah, I know.
There's many elements that you could see, definitely.
Okay, so what's advice to my musicians? Like, be with someone who's a plugger.
Someone can plug things.
Somebody who knows like the technical part or learning yourself. It's critical. Yeah. It's so critical besides the music part in a world like right now to be able to figure out the technology to express yourself.
Yeah, because unless you want to go to a studio, and there's no studio here, you cannot do that. No, as far as like a professional studio, I mean, well, there is. Exactly, it's expensive, and you're not gonna be able to bring in all your. And anyway, when a studio is like classic, I mean, traditional, not traditional, but when your project is finished, you're gonna record it in a studio. So you cannot be making experiments and tweaking stuff for hours in a studio unless it's your house.
Or your garage, which is the original like whole notion of a garage band. It's like friends who get together to make music. And that is difficult in Haiti. It is difficult. I think we found the right formula, and you're a part of that, giving us opening a platform to the rest of the world. Gives us, and we're working on with a company called Taxi that does production, sound banks for film. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah. So there's all types of ways to be creative, even if you're in an apparently limited environment. Because no joke, we were like, okay, we need to be out more.
Yeah, I'll tell you about Taxi in a little bit.
We're gonna play. We were gonna do a gig like didgeridoo, because in my head I'm like, oh, that's a holiday. That's perfect. But so figuring out how to keep creating and sending out that energy. This country needs it. The world needs it. We believe in it. But sharing it. So that's what we're doing now. So. That's just because we're trying to.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Hello. All right. So that you just know, I'm setting up the tempos of my reverb and stuff so that everything sounds okay. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. Almost. You have to tell us if you hear more or less. You hear? Do you hear what I hear? It's almost percent. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see?
I changed some stuff there. Dis-moi pourquoi tu ne veux plus de moi. Tu me laisses là, dans tous mes états. La bouche bée, comme un égaré, perdu dans ses pensées. J'ai toujours envie de toi, envie de toi. va, juste comme ça. Elle m'en revient et il s'en va, tout juste comme ça. C'est pas pourquoi. Il vit, il meurt, il brise les cœurs, et c'est comme ça. J'ai toujours envie de toi, envie de toi.
Put Deja's voice a little bit higher, Gogo.
You could hear? You could hear?
I could hear, but could you put Deja's voice a little bit higher?
All right, okay.
That's a little too loud.
Cause you took too much. To the touch, drowning in you.
Yeah. Well, this
Wow.
is just two, all right? So, and if stuff happens that you don't review because my stuff get disconnected, you know, it get broken, it's been fixed 100 times. No, it's good so that they know it's cool. Yeah, it's just part of stuff, you know. Because if like, hey, something went wrong here at the moment where they're not blowing and nothing is coming out. But it's all good because that's spontaneous.
That's spontaneous. Exactly. I mean, this is live, you know, so it's all good. And this is
So are the concerts.
Oh yeah, exactly. But when you have like the whole band, it's like, yeah, it's like everybody takes over their parts.
Well, good job. Then Gogo doesn't have to do
I don't have to. Yeah, exactly. So but it's all good. It's all good. It's very good. So what do you? Yeah. Ask us something.
Well, I mean, I would love to hear a little bit more. I mean, you've had your album. Talk to us about the album that you released. What year was this?
BC.
That was. That's a good one, man. No, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's been like 12 years, 10, 12 years. It's called First Birth. It was back in 2004. It's 14. Like, yeah, it's a lot. It's like 12, 13 years.
My like references here all political.
And then, well, we had another album ready to put out. I mean, not ready. That's not true. The songs were recorded, but we still had to work on it. But somehow life happened, just like Nadege said. And, you know, Nadege went into GIS also for a while. She went away for a while. And I started, you know, working more. Like, I really wanted to do this. Even though I didn't know what I was seeing myself for more and more like, what am I going to do? Am I going to turn into a musician? Am I, making a living? What am I going to do?
Here when people are like painters, yeah. Like, oh, déjà, on a peint, il y a des musiciens sous ça.
It's like, God, it's like, wow, it's like crazy. And, you know, and I live this very well because I really think that's my calling. But that do go back to talking about Taxi record. Taxi is a company it's an artist and record company and our company that if you want has they put you in contact with people who need specific tracks for specific thing, whether it's for dramedy, daytime TV, or an album being or percussion track for commercial, whether it's, and they send you references and they sign contract. And I signed a contract this year. My first contract was for a track going to, it was a trap song, like a trap, which means like hip hop-ish, trap-ish song. All right. Uh, and that got signed up with this company in England, going on a track. And so I had to sign up to BMI, which is, you know, copyrights and all that stuff. So it's like, oh, I had to rush into really going for it if I really wanted to keep doing it. And now I got accepted a lot of tracks and still waiting for interesting contract, hopefully. But and we submit once in a while a couple of songs because it's specific stuff. It's not always you're gonna find your genres, but sometimes we adapt things and we, you know, it's really interesting. It's my first year. It's our first year, and it's interesting because it's allowing me to produce in ways that I never did.
Call in other musicians.
Exactly.
And that's where your network and really knowing there's some excellent musicians here.
Exactly.
So if we can produce, it's Indigenous as a band is one thing. Indigenous as a production company is even bigger, as our ability to integrate stuff and people and sound. So that's how this place it turns into a little jewel of a creation instead of, you know, I don't know how somebody has to hit downtown every day. That's a lot of respect.
Right, because for our viewers who are not in, you know, Haiti right now is going through, you know, some
Haiti's really going through a lot, but now it's been escalating into like really violent. It's very tough.
But here's the thing: you asked about our album. Our first album was when the country was so impossible that we couldn't perform. So we're like, well, let's make an album. So there's a symmetry and a, you know, that we are again deciding to really focus on producing.
And also,
it makes sense.
It's also like, in those times that also that you can get to talk and create and create also of what's done that you want to talk about, because the world, whether Haiti and everything, is going through a lot of like, you know, there's a lot of darkness, even though there's a lot of light all around, and we just have to keep doing our thing and sending up, because a sound, there's nothing like, I mean, it really is like, and because when someone talks crap or does give bad messages, it's a sound of something that's, so all this is, I think we're doing our part, and we're living exactly what we want to. It's not a make believe or anything. That's what we want to do, even if we're not, because we're not exactly out there in that these days. We're like kind of doing our thing. You know, we went out in the beginning of the year. We played a few concerts here and there, and then you know, in the summer it started to get bad again, and I'm not a compa band to go have people dance, you know. So we are kind of a spectacle and kind of a vibe that needs, I don't know, attention somehow. So we decided to focus on some videos that we're shooting next week, and which you also with the webinar, you know, it falls into, you know, it's totally aligned with what we want to do these days as far as being present, but not necessarily going to play for the door. But you know, it's, I don't know, it's delicate.
You guys are doing a great job at, you know, given the current context that's going on in Haiti right now, but you're able to kind of not be affected by that, or actually maybe you are being affected by it, but you're taking that and you're expressing it through your music.
Of course, right? I mean, we have a radio, we turn on the radio, you know, and like that breaks here and there and say what's going on, like, but sometimes it's like it's really, it's, you know, but we're very lucky, like I said, you know, like to be able to sit here and do our thing. But it's also a situation inspire you to write or to say things.
They're marching right up here in Thomasin. There's going to be, this is, you know, 18 November. There were some people there the other day. I stopped and I, you know, that conversation matters too. That's, we aren't, you can be engagé without being the one who's the first one to, but we are 100% engaged in contributing to this region moving forward. And this is our contribution. This is our way of doing it.
Absolutely. I think it's like a big system and everybody plays their part. And us as artists, as creatives, we can use our talent to be engaged, whether it be through music, whether it be through art, whether